what do you want your family life to look like? Because most people go, what do I want the business to look like? Let's grow it, get some financial freedom, get some time, and then I'll figure out how to like spend time with my family once I retire or make enough money. I think that's backwards. Let's first of all determine, what do you want your family life to look like, right? And then let's build a business around it to support your family. What does your family really need to be happy? Because everybody has like the financial number that's like, this is what I really need, right, to be happy. And it's much lower than most people think. Then there's the luxury number above it. And then there's the like, well, shit, man, it's like, if, what's the third number that's kind of ridiculous, but whatever. And he goes, very important to understand those numbers, because you will always be working towards a higher number if you don't know what's enough, right? What's enough?
Welcome to Dedicated Joe, a podcast for men like me who want to get the most out of fatherhood. Because I discovered that being a dad can be more than just parenting or providing or surviving the chaos. Learn how I, every day, use being a dad to transform my identity and become the man I was meant to be. I'm your host, Joe Carr. Let's go. Well, here with Jon, the famous Jon Vroman. I've been hearing so much about you. Multiple of my guests are in your program, and they all said, you got to talk to this guy. He's the entrepreneur dad. So glad to finally have you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your story? How did you come to create this dad's program?
Out of need, out of feeling like, my kid was born and I was like, I'm going to be the best dad ever. I was so committed to being the best dad ever. And then I blinked and my baby was 6. My second was 1.
Wow.
And I had these 2 boys, and I just had this wake up moment. And I could tell that's a longer story, but I had a wake up moment that I realized, at 6, I was a third of the way to 18. I was like 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, and done. Not done as a dad, but done in that season, And that led to, like most things in my life, when I feel that sense of urgency, like, how do I improve? How do I grow? How do I shift things? And so I got 30 guys together back in 2016 in Philadelphia. And the goal was just talk about fatherhood and family life, and leave business out of it for a minute. And we were all so good at talking about business.
And that was when your first one was 6?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. What happened that first 6 years? Like, where'd you go?
I was working, man. I just, it's so easy in your 20s. Like, my story was that in my 20s, I conditioned myself to be a productive entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your schedule's built around that. Your identity's built around that. And then when you have a child, in my case, and I know it's not the same for every person, but my main mission was then still putting food on the table. It was supporting my wife. It was holding the baby and loving the baby and creating safety and going for walks, but still mostly, baby's breastfeeding, mama's got the baby, and my identity is I go bring home, the provisions. And so that works for a minute, right? That works for a minute. But what happened was I was speaking, and I was running a charity called Front Row Foundation. And I was proving to myself and to my family and to my wife and my newborn that I was a good guy and I could do good in the world. And I get caught up in that. And then I'm speaking 50 paid gigs a year. I land my biggest paid speech of my life, 18,000 people, huge payday,
This is while your first kid was an infant?
Yeah, this is all between 0 and 6.
Yeah.
And the story is like, it didn't start that way. It started with like my house being foreclosed on, $100,000 in credit card debt, trying to find my way. But then it took off. And my wife said, hey, thank you for being a moment maker. That was the brand. I wrote a book about being a moment maker, right? For other people, for people with life-threatening illnesses, for businesses. And she said, thank you for being a moment maker for the rest of the world, but we're wanting you to be a moment maker a little more at home. And that's when it all flipped on its head.
She didn't say that till he was 6?
Yeah, that's when she really said it.
She'd said it before, but not
probably
kind of like
probably, but it hit me in that moment.
How long did you take off after the birth?
My first child, Tiger, I don't remember. I think I probably just worked the whole way through. That was a season.
Wow.
My second child, I got it better. I got it right as I think about it. So that was 8 weeks I took off.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
That's
work for
great.
8 weeks, and I just was so super present.
So that first one, she was just left to kind of figure it out.
100%.
Did you have family helping?
Nope.
Or?
She's from Russia.
Wow.
We were living in Virginia Beach. We didn't
Okay.
have any family around, so it was just the two of us. And she was a total champ.
She just powered through.
held
and
it down.
You brought home the money, and she just dealt with it. You just had no idea what was going on or how hard it was.
That's exactly right, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that when I look back on it, I have compassion for myself, that version of myself. I was really trying. I was really doing the best I could. But I think that's why Front Row Dads started, was because you have some awareness that you don't know everything, right? And that, yes, love is the essential ingredient to being a great dad. Being there, being a loving force, yes, providing, yes, all those things. But I needed men in my life to be a mirror. I needed men in my life to show me a different way, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get more examples of what it looked like to be a great dad.
Yeah.
And that's what I've gotten the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. Love as the ingredient. I think a theme that I've discovered is sort of like presence is the thing, like to be present.
Yeah.
So I think that one could feel love. I know I love my kids. I know I love my wife. You could even work many, many hours out of love. Like, I'm doing this because I love them and I love the world. But it's sort of like not enough if you're not showing up with that love, which is what it sounds like you kind of discovered, was you cared about them, but you weren't engaging it enough.
Yeah, that's a felt experience for sure. And yeah, learning to be a person who could set the temperature of my house, right? And not react to it. The reaction part for me has been the biggest thing.
To lead instead of because you were working and you set the pace in your work, but at home it was her domain.
Yeah, I was unskilled. I mean, I think the easiest way to put it is I was unskilled. I was a loving and unskilled person, husband and dad.
Yeah, and she kind of let you get away with that for a long time.
100%.
Yeah, a lot of women don't let you, but yours did. Good for better or for worse. Until she didn't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like she had to scream too loud about it. That when she said that, you kind of looked at it.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's so subjective. Is like,
Yeah.
how loud did she scream?
Right.
Because if you asked her if she were sitting here, she might be like, no, I was screaming for 6 years and he just finally heard me. That might be her story on some level, right? And sometimes it's not even just with our words. It's if we're reading the energy. I have this great moment in our relationship I'll share with you real quick, where we were about to walk the beach in Florida, and I wanted to have a conversation with her, like a deep conversation. And I said, hey, there's some things I want to share with you. And she said, okay. And we started walking and talking. And then in the middle of my deep, profound share, as I saw it, she sees a shell and she's like, oh, a shell. And she picks it up, and it triggered me a little bit because I was in this process of revealing my heart, and she spots this shell and I feel not so important anymore. So I call it out. I say, hey, beautiful shell, but if you can just give me your undivided attention, it would really mean the world to me. And then a minute later, she sees another shell and she picks it up. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on, right? And I'm trying to contain my energy. I'm trying not to get upset outwardly. And I'm like, it would really mean the world to me if you would just not pick up shells. Please, 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 just let me get through this. I'm trying to pour my heart out to you. And then not even a minute later, she sees another shell and I completely lose it. What? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm just so frustrated. And I leave her on the beach. I turn around, I storm off, I abandon her on the beach, go back to the house where we're staying. And luckily, I had a coaching call that was coming up shortly after. And I got on that call and I'm like, I can't wait to share this with my coach. He for sure is going to be like, John, you did the right thing. You asked for what you wanted. You didn't react the first time. You held your great job. She is wrong. That's what I was expecting to hear. Instead, what I heard was, John, it seems like you have made your world of words more important than her world of energy. Because while she wasn't telling you with her words that she was not available for a conversation, her body was telling you she's not available for the conversation. Now, we could make an argument that perhaps she could take ownership and say, I could have said to Jon, I'm not available for a chat. Right? That could be her ownership if this were about her. But this is not about her. This is about Jon. And so the moral of that story for me, the lesson in it was that I had so much to learn about reading her energy and not just her words. And I think that's the lesson over those 6 years, that her words finally landed for me. But I'll bet you if I could go back in time and study her body language and really pay attention to what was happening, I would have picked up on this a lot earlier. So when I learn and still am learning how to read people's energy, I can get the message multiple different ways. I mean, when you think about it, like we're just sitting around like grunting, aren't we? We're these upright apes walking around making sounds with, like on this podcast, we're just making sounds with our mouths, trying to connect with each other and the audience.
And women and children speak so much more than words, right?
That's it.
Babies and children who can't even speak
lesson.
with words at all. So like that's like a big thing. I actually thought the story was going towards like she was present with you. She was just capable of like being with the shells and with you at the same time. And your need for her to like listen in a very specific way was, arbitrary. Like it's like she was there and she could hear you.
Yeah. And there's likely many truths that exist. And that can be a truth that exists in that place too. And she would say in hindsight, I should have just told you I'm not in a place to go for a walk.
Yeah.
That it could be a lesson for her.
That was what it turned out.
So much learning, man.
Yeah, that's great. And so you have this epitome, and your first instinct was like, well, I don't know what to do. I need help doing this. I need to bring other men together to figure this out, because I can't just flip a switch and suddenly be home half the time and working half the like I don't know how to show up.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where that was?
I was leaning in the right direction, but just like anything else that you want to get great at, man. I mean, just if you want to get better at Serenity Kids, right? We probably talk with other people that are in similar industries, and you start doing your homework and you start asking questions, and right? That's just part of the game. Like most men who are business owners who have families have read 100 business books, right? Books on productivity, time management, all this stuff. Most of those guys have not read half a book on parenting, right?
There aren't even very many to read. I mean, it's like you could read them all if you wanted to not read 100.
And it's not as much fun to Google how to be an awesome dad, right? You just have to sift through endless bullshit to get to what you want. But the way I want to learn, the way I've always learned, is usually immersive experiences with like-minded people that have similar goals. That's how I want to learn. I want to learn in community in that way. I did it with everything. When I wanted to become a great speaker, I joined Heroic Public Speaking with Michael and Amy Port, right? When I wanted to become a great coach, I joined a coaching program with a guy named Jeff Suey. When I wanted to learn about charity work, I surrounded myself with other people who were forming and running charities. We aligned and we talked and we shared strategies. Why is there nothing for parenting, for dads who are business owners? And that's when, I had this identity shift that I was a business owner who happened to have a family, but I wanted to live in such a way that I was a family man with a business, not a businessman with a family. And that became like the rally, line for Front Row Dads for the last 10 years.
There's other men like us that want to be dads first.
Yeah.
And then have businesses second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine, Tim Nikolive, who in Front Row Dads, we have these bands. Bands are small groups, right? And Tim's in my band. He's one of my best friends. He's an awesome dude. Tim figured out the money game pretty early on. So he invested in mobile home parks, got into real estate, and essentially retired himself by age 30. Had 5 kids, has 5 kids, and became like he just had all this time freedom, money freedom, wanted to live this amazing life. And he was. And I was very inspired by him. He would take his family to Europe every summer for 6 weeks, and they would go on these grand adventures. And, he created an amazing life for himself. And I remember sitting down with him and I said, I want to create what you've created. And he said, okay, well, let's first of all whiteboard this out. And the first thing he said was, what do you want your family life to look like? Because most people go, what do I want the business to look like? Let's grow it, get some financial freedom, get some time, and then I'll figure out how to like spend time with my family once I retire or make enough money. He goes, yeah, I think that's backwards. Let's first of all determine, what do you want your family life to look like, right? And then let's build a business around it to support your family. What does your family really need to be happy? Because everybody has like the financial number that's like, this is what I really need, right, to be happy. And it's much lower than most people think. Then there's the luxury number above it. And then there's the like, well, shit, man, it's like, if, what's the third number that's kind of ridiculous, but whatever. And he goes, very important to understand those numbers, because you will always be working towards a higher number if you don't know what's enough, right? What's enough? And so he got me very clear about that. And within 2 years, I scheduled a 6-week vacation with my family in Europe. We hit Iceland, Switzerland, the Netherlands, France. Like, we did the whole deal for 6 weeks, and the business ran. Front Row Dads ran. Front Row Dads, is a thriving 7-figure business, and it functioned without me. The podcast was airing. I had members interviewing epic people. I remember Brad Johnson interviewed Michael Hyatt and aired the show on the Front Row Dad podcast while I was hiking in Switzerland. And that was like, all started because a buddy of mine showed me a path, and a buddy of mine whiteboarded out what it was like to put family first, build a business around it, and then realize what's enough for you to be with your kids.
I think you could be an employee that way too. Like, most people have some flexibility in their job. They might think they don't, but ultimately, if you set that intention, like, this is the kind of job I want to do, even if I'm not a business
100%.
owner, I want these hours, this flexibility, this work from home time. And
that's right.
But then you actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, you can say, I want this, and you can create it, but then now I'm here, and how do I be here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think all of it is doing the best you can with what you have, right? I have people in my life that earn way more money than I do, and they can always do things that I can't. Or they have businesses that create even more freedom than what I currently feel that I have in my world. But it's often about, what can you do with what you have? And these are intentional questions. So you're right, man. Whether you're a W-2 and you're new at your job, like, there's ways that you can influence your schedule, how you're perceived by your quote unquote boss, right? And what you're able to create. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you balance really intense, like, running a business or a many hour a week job with that family time?
You mean, what does it look like for real?
Yes, for real. For real. I love the idea of it.
Not just in theory.
Yes.
I think one is recognizing that, first of all, there are seasons, right? There are busy seasons. But if you get trapped in it's a busy season, there'll always be another busy season, right? So you got to be very careful with the sprinting. You'll find yourself sprinting right after one after another. So to me, I think it's about having systems and that anchor in some boundaries. So most of the year, and I say most of the year very intentionally because there are, again, exceptions to the rule, I don't take any calls before 10 a.m. I don't schedule anything after 4 p.m. And Monday, I reserve completely for leadership and strategy and thinking. So I lead the team, I lead strategic partnerships on Monday to set the pace for the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm only available between 10 and 4. And that is for podcasts, interviews, right? And then Fridays, 95% of the time, have nothing on my calendar on Friday. Friday is for closing all the loops. Because what I found was that I wasn't present with my family on the weekend, and I was trying to figure out the hack to be present. What do I need to do to center myself and clear my mind and be with my kids so I'm not at work or on my phone when it's the weekend? And what I realized was I didn't have a problem that needed to be solved on a Saturday. I actually had a business problem that existed because I was going into the weekend on Friday, crushing it till the very last minute, right? Opening up projects, starting new things on Fridays, like big calls. My brain was on a level 10 in business by Friday at 5. So when I went into the weekend, I had no time to ramp down to close the loops, to finish my email, to go inbox 0 whenever possible on a Friday. My assistant Sol, who's amazing, that's who I was talking to on the way over here, and she knows our mission is inbox 0 every Friday. How do we clear everything out? So energetically, we go right into the weekend. Mm-hmm. Another practical look at this is, so I have a live event tomorrow with some new Front Row Dad members here in Austin. And then Saturday morning, I leave for Japan for 2 weeks with my 11-year-old. And I said to Sol today, I said, this just happened an hour ago. So in practicality, one is if you can afford this, right, get an assistant. Dan Martell is a great friend of mine, wrote Buy Back Your Time, and a big philosophy of his is get an assistant. I can't agree any more on that philosophy. Also, quick resource, Pareto Talent, it was owned by a Front Row Dad brother named Qasim Aslam. They find and place executive assistants out of Argentina. Sol, who's been my assistant for nearly 2 years now, who's just runs my life. She runs my email. She runs my calendar. Everything. I found through Pareto Talent. And Qasim and his partner, Yvonne, who's also a Front Row Dad, are outstanding men, outstanding service. I probably have sent a dozen people their way who are thrilled with the outcome. So in practicality, that's what it looks like. I have an assistant. I'm closing loops. I'm clearing things out. I've got strong boundaries. Sol and I just had this conversation about an email that came in that was to me. It was very personal, and she's responding on my behalf, right? I used to think to be a good man, to be a good business owner, to be a good friend, I needed to respond to everybody all the time, and I wish I could. I really want there to be enough time in the day, but these boundaries and these systems, that's what saves me. Mm-hmm. I have to be saved from myself. In fact, I told Sol that this morning. I go, please save me from myself. Yeah. If I reach out to you from Japan for any business reason, remind me that I am a Front Row Dad and I need to be with my family. Yeah. Do not engage, Sol.
My whole business is teaching dads to be with their kids.
Yeah, so, that's exactly right.
Yeah, when we started the Healthy Baby Food Company, we had seen health food entrepreneurs destroy their health selling their products, like working 90-hour weeks. So we're just not going to do that. We're not going to take time. We're not going to mess up our family or our health selling healthy baby food. Yeah. So we were committed to that from very early on. And I remember when we stopped working Saturdays and then eventually stopped working both days and then had really 9-to-5 work days. But the schedule is interesting because I think a lot of people would think, how could you get everything done? How is it possible for you to run a business or, get everything accomplished in essentially a 4-day structured work week that are 6-hour days? And, my thought is Germany has 4-hour work week or 4-day work week. They have 3-day weekends, and they're like one of the most productive economies in Europe. And so it's like, and the finding is basically like if you concentrate your energy in a shorter period of time, you get the same amount done. Yeah. That essentially, if you have 40 hours, you're going to use 40 hours. If you have 30, or I guess call it 30 hours for you, or even less if it's 6 a day. You'll find a way to concentrate it in there. Yeah. If so, and then that makes it impossible for you to use work to avoid family.
People hide at work, including myself.
Which is like, that's what I hear a lot of men complain that their job keeps them from their family. And I almost always discover they are unconsciously using that as excuse because they don't know how to show up. They're scared of being with their kids. They're scared to be present. They're scared to face their feelings. So you create all this time for yourself and now you have to be with them. How do you face that? Like, what do you do with all that extra time that is not working?
Yeah. Yeah. This is it. Yeah. Hiding at work. Family can be really hard. I've done that myself. I used to leave in the morning to go provide for the family. But in reality, I loved that. I loved working hard. I loved the grind.
It was safe.
It was safe. It was me in a coffee shop with a keyboard warrior, recording things, going and giving speeches. But the intimate work, the challenging work was to be at home in relationship, and with my kids. So yeah, man, I mean, it's just, I could have a bigger business. I'm sure I could have a bigger house. I could have more money. I could keep pushing for bigger impact, to reach more dads, to do, right? I could do that. I remember there was a guy who everybody would know. I won't name drop, but he's very, very popular, right? Very famous. And he reached out and he was like, let's do a podcast when I'm in town. He was coming to Austin. And he was like, I'm available Saturday morning at 9:30. I was like, sorry, bro. Like, I can't do it. It's family time. I said no. Right. And I remember saying no with slight bit of like, should I just make an exception to the rule in this case? But I was like, no, this actually feels good. You know, because I've interviewed a lot of people, a lot of men in their 80s, talked to men in their 80s who are grandfathers, and I'll ask them for the best parenting advice, right? What are their biggest regrets when they look back on their life? What are they happy they did? What are they sad about? I've never heard a man I respected say, I left a couple million on the table. I wish I would have worked harder. I have heard plenty. Don't miss the window with your kids. I've heard that plenty. It goes by so fast. Prioritize, don't miss it. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. And from my own dad, who I love and is alive, and he's 80 and he's a retired Navy captain, and he was successful after his naval career, and he's a stellar man, right? He got his black belt in his 70s, right? My mom and dad are still together, fit, healthy, awesome, generous, kind, loving people. And my dad will say, my biggest regret is I worked so hard to be a good provider, but I failed at providing emotionally at home for you and spending time, real time. And he wasn't a terrible dad. There's a lot of good things I can say, but if he was right here, he'd be like one of his biggest regrets in life was just not being there, being at home more often. He left at the house at 6:30 in the morning. He came back at 6:30 in the evening. He was a disciplined Navy captain. He worked out. He was always fit. He was like high integrity man, right? And I've learned so much from him. And yet I also knew that I didn't want to do that, right? It was 1 week off in the summer. That was it, you know? And that week mattered. I have great memories from that week, but it was still very tight.
And so you talked about how you set up your schedule so that at least you don't let the work take up your whole day, and even mentally checking off boxes on Friday and, you know, not bringing it into the weekend. So tell me how then, so now you show up, you've checked all the boxes, you don't have meetings scheduled. What do you do? Like, how do you be with your kids? Like, what is the inner challenge or the emotional work you have to do to like face these kids who see you, or face your wife who knows you better than anybody?
Yeah.
Expects your full presence once all of you. It's like intimidating.
Yeah, there's hygiene practices in your family, right? There's things that bring you together. And I think over time you figure out what those things are. So one for us is that anytime that we can be having dinner together or playing a game together, that's a good time, right? We just created a games list in Front Row Dads that we surveyed all of our men, our hundreds of members, and asked them like, what games bring your family closest together that you can play quickly, that variety of ages can play. Like, it's, you know, that, that's been awesome. I had Ben Greenfield on the show recently, and he talked with his wife, Jessa, about how games were so important for their family. It's a killer episode. And
I had Ben also. So
oh, yeah. So did he talk about the games?
We didn't talk about games.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's passionate about games.
What's an example of a game that's good for like all ages?
Taco, cat, cheese, goat, pizza, or whatever. That's something like that, right? It's a little card game.
Okay.
You travel with it, and everybody plays, and you're kind of like, you're slapping the table. People are laughing. It's just super cool, right? It's super cool. It's a very popular game. A lot of people probably already heard about it, but it's a card game. You throw the cards in your bag, you keep one in the car, you play it at, you know, the dinner table and it's easy to teach people. That's an example of a great game. So
our daughter, we have family dinner as well. I grew up with family dinner. My wife did not, so it's been a challenge for her to get her to come to dinner.
Yeah,
but we have it, and my daughter discovered that we would just leave her out of conversation. Like my wife would talk about work or our grown-up stuff. So and then when we have people over, she'll eat with us and other people as long as we like find a way to include her. She's 7, so you can't just talk about anything. But Rose and Thorn is one of our favorites, where we each go around
100%.
and say a good thing,
Peach
a bad
Pit,
thing from the
High
day.
Low.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those. That's so good, man.
And she picks who goes next.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And so she's engaged, and you learn about people's days.
So good.
So-
Yeah. Little habits like that, routines like that make all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to play with Ocean every day. Ocean's 11, which is fun to say. And we play pickleball almost every day.
Oh,
We have a pickleball court in our neighborhood, and we'll go down there and play at least a game, right? So a lot of this, and a great strategy for a lot of our men, has been just saying yes, even if it's for 5 minutes. Dad, can you play with? Yes, even if it's for 5 minutes. So if I'm feeling like I'm spent, I'm cashed, and Ocean's like, let's go play pickleball, or I'll suggest it, but I don't want to suggest it. I'm like, there's a part of me that just wants to sit on the couch and watch a movie with him. But I'm like, let's go play one game.
Very easy trap to fall into.
Very easy
They'll
trap.
happily do it.
Yeah.
Sure, let's watch a movie.
100%.
Let's watch a show.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to do that at times, but that can easily
A tool.
become
Yeah.
every
The thing.
day, twice a day. My kids watch screens every morning while I'm getting ready. It's every night while I'm cooking dinner. It's lots of screens. So we have some good screen boundaries. If we have devices, they're all just set on timers, right? So even my 16-year-old, he has screen time. It goes off he has a phone, but it goes off at a certain time. His apps have limits. And we talk about it. A lot of it's just discussion, right? He and I discuss, hey, these things are addictive. I delete Instagram from my phone when I notice I'm developing an unhealthy pattern. I'm 50, right? So, dude, these are addictive.
I have app limits on my
Tools,
phone,
yeah.
social media.
We all need
particularly. Yeah, my work apps go off on the weekends and at 5 p.m. and my social media caps out at 5 minutes.
So important.
5 minutes. I get 5 times a day, 5 minutes each.
Yep.
And it's amazing how many days I max that out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure I don't spend 25 minutes, but I'm sure
It's
do.
wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I will pick up my phone and open an app unconsciously. And I'm like, how did I even get here?
I would moving the app off the desktop. I'd move my work email off the desktop, and I would open the app that was in its place. Be like the weather app or something absurd.
That's funny.
Multiple times
Yeah.
I will open this app, and like literally my thumb clicked it.
That's exactly right.
Without me, I have no desire to check the weather.
Yeah.
I'm so used to checking my email, so I had to turn it off because otherwise it'll just do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you find some games to play, you find things to do. I think as dads, we like to do. My wife can just like sit with my daughter.
Yeah.
She can just like sit there with her.
Yeah.
And just be and just hang out and like be present, which I like. I strive to be like that, but like on some level, I think there is like a masculine need to
Sure.
be active, to create.
It's great.
So she can just like snuggle with my wife or whatever and just hang out and I would like that, but she doesn't even want to do that with me. She wants to play with me. Like she sees me as the active playing. Let's go do something. Let's go owl. Let's go hunt for
sure.
bugs. Let's play these pretend games. Let's swim, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's being there. It's being honest. Like if your kid likes to play, Ocean loves to play with army characters and set up these battles, and that's hard for me after 5 minutes. Like I have a hard time doing an army battle for 20 minutes. Like it's like, dude, can we do something else, please? And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's okay to be like, we're going to do this for 10 minutes and then let's try something else. And I think it's okay to be honest with your kids. It's also okay to stretch yourself a little bit and do things that are uncomfortable. They do things that are uncomfortable all the time too, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is show up, be present, in love, right? Like, that's bring love to the table.
Yeah, even because we can do anything for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's very meaningful for them.
100%.
And like it's better to tell them I only have 5 minutes of attention for this. If I could do something else, or otherwise I need to go take a break, rather than be half present there. Like
I think we
I'll
have this
start to get on my phone.
vision when we're like new dads that all we picture are these family dinners where we're laughing and right, and then our kids, we're holding hands with them and we're doing all the things we love to do, right? We love to play golf. We're golfing with our kid, and we're like, we're going to do so much fun stuff together. And then you realize that a lot of the stuff is hard to do, and it might not be your favorite thing to do, right? But learning to relax into that and slow down a little bit. It's in business, we're optimizing for efficiency all the time. Right? That's what it is. We're optimizing for efficiency. And in your family, everything doesn't need to be optimized. Yeah. I remember my friend Josh Shipp. I don't know if you know who he is, a youth speaker. Very cool dude. And he just said that he had this conversation with his wife one time, and his wife was like, we don't have to optimize our family all the time. This does not have to be optimized. We don't need optimized vacations. We don't need we can just slow things down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if you're a hard charging, high performing entrepreneurial guy, then slowing things down a little bit and being not efficient is actually a really great gift to bring to your family.
Yeah, well, let's talk about how you use business frameworks. Do or do not use them for family, because like I think my desire to optimize could be used well if I know what I'm optimizing for.
Yeah.
Rather than for productivity or box checking or great Instagram
Big
photos.
Big question. What are you optimizing for?
Like if I'm optimizing for connection, what feels, and like I learned to optimize vacation for rest, which was a really big change for me.
Yeah.
I tried to work on vacation. I would play hard, work hard, play hard. And so it's like my wife really just wanted to do nothing. And it would drive me nuts. Yeah. and I discovered it's because I didn't want to feel my feelings. I was just running from my feelings all the time. I didn't want to rest because then I might feel something, God forbid. And so I started, I'd get stressed out or I'd get migraines. I was constantly getting migraines on vacation. It's like classic. All of our vacations would be interrupted. She'd say ruined, but I'd say, they were ruined. I'm resting. My body would make me rest by putting me in bed. And, but if I learned that I'm optimizing for rest, so let's simplify the calendar, optimizing for connection. So let's make sure what we do together is something we enjoy doing or not doing. Yeah. Both connection between me and my wife and as a whole family. We need both of those things on a vacation and in day to day. Yeah. How to optimize for that. It's a different question.
Yeah. So bringing things from business to family.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you what's worked and some of the things that do translate and what doesn't translate. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that translates well is core values. A lot of people have core values for their business and they don't have them for their family. So I think you can take a similar practice of how you develop core values and bring them home, right? And there's a variety of ways to approach it. One is you do them with your family. And obviously that can vary depending on the age of your kids and how you collaborate with people. You can also just bring values. In a company, you can establish your values and bring them to your company and say, these are our core values. And as a leader, you get to do that. You can have your personal core values as a man. You can have your family core values, right? You can approach it a variety of ways, but I think people should have defined core values.
And is there a specific tool you use for that, or you're just saying however you did it with your business?
I think there's a bunch of tools that exist out there on creating core values. My buddy who lives here in Austin, Darius Mirshazadeh. Do you know who he is? Mm-mm. He has a book. I think it's called The Core Value Equation. But it's an awesome process of how he created his core values. And he worked with me in writing Front Row Dad's core values. And then I did the same process for our family. So both of those could be a great example.
What are your family's core values?
Play, authenticity, love.
3, is that a magic number?
I think 3 is a good number.
Yeah, it's easy to remember.
And I think when my boys, though, we have different core values for the boys. So truth, love, and responsibility.
So you and your wife came up with those for them?
No, I did.
You came up with them for the boys.
For the boys.
And
for the men.
These are what I want to instill into you.
Yes, exactly. Truth, love, and responsibility.
Right.
So and those are very personal to me, right? So I'll say them often. And when I'm thinking about what can I do with the boys, what activities can I create? Truth, love, and responsibility, right? That's what I want. And
the family ones were created as a group?
Yeah, the family ones have been recreated over time. Yeah. And I'll give a shout out here to an epic guy that you might want to have on the podcast at some point. Maybe you've already had him on. Mike McCarthy. Do you know Mike? Okay, so Mike and Lindsay McCarthy are 2 dear friends of mine. They live here in Austin. Mike is a co-founder of a group called GoBundance, which is a mastermind of men, epic community led by a guy named Matt King, who also would be a great guest. I've just got a lot of great guests for you, man.
Yeah, well, I'll follow up with all these.
So Mike and Lindsay wrote The Miracle Morning for Parents and Families with Hal Elrod and his book series. And then they created a workbook to go along with that. And they have a core values process of how they came up with theirs. And their core values are awesome. I literally see them in their hallway when I'm at their home. When you go up the stairs, their core values are hanging on the hallway, right? They're hanging in the hallway. And I think that's a great process. So you can go through theirs. And like I said, they're all unique and different. Darius's are a little more paragraph form and a little punchier and interesting in the cadence of how they read. My chief operation officer in Front Row Dads, Ali, he has done his core values for his family, and his are like single words with like a sentence to describe each word. And he put them on blocks of wood and they're hanging in his home. Cool. And he has like 7 core values, but somebody would say that you should only have 3. And I think this is the whole point, right? 1,000 ways to get there. The important part is that you define them. Yeah. And then you ask, are you living in accordance with them? And how does this show up in your world? And then also I think it's having some statements that you say over and over again. Like a family can have a tagline. Like a business, like ours is family men with businesses, not businessmen with families and Front Row Dads. And that resonates with a lot of people. People join our community and they're like, I heard that. And I'm like, that's for me. It's like, it's a qualifier. Yeah. My kids will say, and it's an interesting question, right? What phrase are your kids going to remember that you said over and over and over again? One of the phrases I know my kids will remember is Vromans leave things better than they found them. Mm. I got that from my dad. Mm-hmm. I'd watch my dad walk into a public restroom, right? And wipe the counter down. Even though it wasn't his mess, he'd grab a couple extra paper towels and he'd wipe the counter down. Leave things better than he found them. I remember we go to this lake as a kid, and every year he's like, we have one project at the lake house. It was a family lake house that was passed down from generation to generation. And he's like, we're going to paint something. We're going to power wash something. We're going to clean some windows. We're going to do something to enhance this place. Mm. Every summer there was a project, and he would be out there on his vacation, right? I remember one year it was this swing, right? This swing that you would sit in and go back and forth, and he's just taking some boards off, replacing them with new boards that were rotted, right? And I just remember that. Yeah. Cool great. Things my dad did.
Okay. Do you have others like that? Like, do you have a family mission statement
we don't have a family mission statement.
Or a tagline?
Yeah, but that's your tagline. I think that those are some of the taglines that our kids will remember, right? Yeah. One that you'll hear often, I think from many dads, and I think it's a good one, is whatever your last name is, Vromans do hard things. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great one everybody can adopt. Vromans do hard things. When your kids, that just things that you might say that you believe in that are truths about life. I think that's very important. And I also think, I'm going to give you one more example, that you don't have to have any of these things. Mm. I think they're cool.
Yeah, just a tool.
But you don't have to have them.
Yeah.
I was talking about a moment ago, Hal Elrod, who's one of my best friends in the world. If anybody doesn't know who he is, just read The Miracle Morning and you can thank me later. His book has been read by millions of people around the world. He's an incredible guy, lives here in Austin, stellar family man. Like, we just did a live call together yesterday for his community. What was I going to say about, Hal's dad, Mark. His dad is named Mark, and really cool dude. And he said, John, he goes, he's been in Front Row Dads for 10 years, right? He's at the very first ever retreat. He's an advocate. Look at any of his interviews, he's almost always wearing a Front Row Dads hat. Hal has grown so much because of the community. In his own words, he'll tell you that. But he will also tell you that his dad was not part of any dad's group. His dad did not have defined core
values. Probably didn't exist back then. I mean, there weren't such things.
His dad did not have all these. It didn't have a tagline, didn't have a mission statement, didn't have any of these things that we talk about. Didn't have a program for one-to-one time with Hal. But he loves Hal to death. And he was an awesome dad. And Hal's like, I won the dad lottery with his father, right? But he didn't do any of these things. He just loved me and spent time with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and same with my parents, the love, conquers all, and I wouldn't trade anything for that. I think love is that value, is that virtue you have to have. Maybe presence is the skill. Yeah. Is the thing you learn to do. So if you want to learn a skill, learn to be more present. Yeah. But you have to.
I don't think I could pull off not having the things, because I'm so like I'm the way I'm built. I want the values. I want to that's the way I'm built.
Well, on some level, that's for your experience.
Yeah, that's right.
Your kids would probably have turned out just fine.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you love them. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is like we think, our kids are going to turn out, but ultimately, all of us turned out great because our parents love us, and that's kind of baseline. But like I think a lot about optimizing for my experience as a dad. Like I want to enjoy this. I want to be fully present, not because they need it. They probably do, but like because I need it.
Well, that's the question that we will wrestle with is how important are you in the whole thing, right? Because on one hand, you could make a really good case for so important. What you say, who you are, what you do. It's so important. I'm in that camp mostly, right? I also think that we can overdo it with how important we are, right? You can overemphasize the importance of like what you say and what you do. Because you're like, I did this thing and I ruined my kids forever. Did you? Yeah. You know, I remember wrestling in this particular scenario with my wife and how she wanted to parent our kids and how I wanted to parent our kids. And I really thought that I had to like, that she was wrong and I was right in this particular scenario. The scenario doesn't even matter. I can think of 10 scenarios this would fit, but she was wrong and I was right. And I would try to get her to change her ways because I felt it was critical to how our kids were being raised. If you do it this way, our kids are ruined. Yeah. If you do it my way, our kids are great. Trust me, right on this one. And somebody came to me and said, I don't think you need to change your spouse and how she parents your kids. I think your kids just get to grow up with two parents who do things very differently. Yeah. They see an example over here, they see an example over here, and they get to choose, right? Because life is great when it gives you warnings and examples. They get to see how things work when they're like, I want to replicate that. And also, I don't want to do that. Both are extremely valuable, right? And I don't think this is an excuse to be a lazy piece of shit as a dad. I don't think this is an excuse to like abandon your children and say, it doesn't matter, everything's going to work out fine. And I do have so many examples of it working out okay. Yeah. My wife's dad left when she was very young. She has no idea where he is. He has never been a part of her life. She met him once when she was 6, spent a month with him, and then he disappeared. And that was it. She has no idea whether he's alive or dead. And she's an awesome human. Yeah. And he was not even around. Now, is that a wound for her? Definitely. Yeah. Right? Does she probably wish in some way that her life were different? Probably. And then she's also like, and I'm grateful. But this is the whole thing. Do you ever wish your life were different? Because all your pain and all your wounds made you who you are. But
she didn't marry a deadbeat. Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She somehow that worked out. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have kids for their sake. Like I didn't be like, I really want a kid as a generous gift to the world.
Right, it's for you.
I'm sacrificing myself to have a kid so that they will, serve the world or something. Yeah. Like maybe there's some piece of that, but that's not why. Like we have kids because we want them, we want that experience. Yeah. And I think we forget that and we think kids are a burden or we become victims to our wives who we also chose and we also could choose every day. And that's like we talk about optimizing. Like if I optimize for my own experience, like dads are afraid of being labeled as selfish. But I think we end up being selfish when we are doing things to essentially avoid our families. Yeah. And that doesn't serve us either. It's not actually fulfilling to us. If we're trying to how do I get the most out of being a dad? How do I get the most out of my kids? That probably we're going to be a great dad. That's like that. If that's the question I ask, how can I enjoy my kids the most today?
Yeah. Well, where all this leads back to, right? If you sit in these conversations long enough about fatherhood and raising kids, and are we raising them or are they raising us? And why are we really doing this? And where's our ego wrapped up into it? And what's divine and what's in my control and what's right? If you sit in that conversation long enough, I believe that it will all come back to, for you and I, is who we are at our core, right? That God, my belief, God lives within me. Mm-hmm. It's not separate from me. I don't pray to a God outside of myself. I believe you're divine. I'm divine. I believe you're God. I am God. We are the life force, right? And you're pure magic and I'm pure magic. And when we get to this, what is my real role? For me, where I've landed is self-love. Being okay with myself, being certain about who I am, why I'm here, how I want to show up, how I want my frequency to be felt, my energy to be felt. I'm here, my friend Kyle C says, I'm here to heal. And I realized, I think I started a men's group back in 2016, and what it's led to is inner child healing work. That's what we have a logo, which I don't know if is anywhere on my body right now, but we have a logo and it's a man holding up a child with their hands in the air like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now that all started because Front Row Foundation, which is where this whole thing began, there's a logo, it's on my arm right here,
Oh, yeah.
of somebody in the front row of a concert with their hands up, like, this is the greatest moment of my life, right? And then it was natural when we created Front Row Dads for there to be a man, right, holding up a child with their hands in the air. And for a while, it was like, we are holding our children up, right? We're putting them in the front row of life.
No, it's your inner child.
And then at some point, dude, that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
We're at a conference and somebody stands up and goes, I think that's our inner child that we're holding up. And I was like,
yes.
Holy shit, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
I have an episode called How Reparenting Ourselves, Parenting Our Kids. And I think it's the absolute greatest gift a child is for us is the connection with our inner child.
That's
we
right.
Get to be a dad for our real kids and our inner kids. And it's not only an amazing opportunity to heal that inner child work, but it's absolutely essential. Like we just can't I cannot be present with my daughter if I am not present with my inner child.
That's exactly right.
You know, like I have, it is literally my inner child playing with her.
That's exactly right.
And that's all she wants. She wants to play with little Joey, she calls him.
That's right.
She talks about little Joey all the time.
Yeah.
We play this game where she goes back in time to save me from my worst year of my life, which was 9 years old. And she says, my dad in the future sent me to get you, to bring you to the future so he can raise you and give you the life that you should have had. And then she brings me back to the future.
Your daughter does this?
My daughter does this.
Wow.
This is her favorite game. She brings me back and I discover this life that I have.
Wow.
And then me, myself meets my kid, and then she's his sister, and like,
wow, that's really advanced.
It's really she
cool.
bought me an American Boy doll toy for my birthday so I could have an embodiment of my inner child, little Joey, she calls it. So we have this little toy that we play with. So sometimes I go and like pick him up while I'm like, if I'm distracted and playing with her, I go and get the doll. I'm like, oh, let's remind me that
100%.
But yeah, that inner child work's tough, but I think it has a lot for businesses too. Yeah. Like I think if we avoid ourselves, avoid our our real feelings, it makes us a bad business leader too. Ultimately.
Yeah.
So let's go that way. What do you learn from parenting and family into business?
Okay, what have I learned from parenting and family that ties to my business? Man, I'm going to go with patience. You know, I think that in business, if something wasn't working out, I could just fire somebody. I could not engage with, I'm so in choice. I don't really have to confront something deep in that space. I didn't have to, right? I could change careers. I could, whatever I felt like I had more control. At home, that became the place where my reactivity, my patience, my being a grounded, solid man was tested the most. And I do believe that when I made progress in that area, I actually was able to show up and work differently as a different leader. It was the forging process at home that allowed me to be even more resilient as a leader in my business. And I love that part, right?
Yeah.
My humanity was tested, and then I was able to bring a more human element, a more loving, grounded element into my business.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot about setting boundaries with love.
Huge.
I was learning that from in a toddlerhood is where you really start to have to learn that, but it's ongoing now where I can say, I know you want to do this thing. I want to make you happy, but I can't let you do it. And I'm not trying to punish you. It's not just to make you suffer. It's truly because I believe this is best. I see you don't see it. I have to hold it. It sucks that you have these feelings. I feel them. I'm sad that you're sad too. Like, I don't want you to be sad, I see this thing and I got to hold that. I'm the dad. I've got to do that. It's my job. And so doing that, so it's learning to set boundaries as a business leader that way, as opposed to like, you're wrong and let me convince you why you're wrong. You can't do that. This is why. There are times where I have to just say, like, I get that you don't agree, that you can't see it, and that you really want to do this way. But like, it's okay that you're frustrated with that. You can be mad about it. It's fine. Yeah. Like, I get it. I have to do this for the business. This is what's right. And, right or wrong, this is what I feel is right. And so I can, like, it's just such a different experience giving performance feedback or saying no to an employee to do it with that spirit like I would my daughter, as opposed to like this mental game of like, let me convince you and we'll debate it and we'll argue it. And well, finally we can agree to disagree. And like, because I said so.
Yeah. Yeah. Clear agreements, clear boundaries. I hear you on that.
Yeah.
Doing what's right for you. Another example of where family impacts business, and it's kind of hard to know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but do you know Mike Michalowicz?
Mm-mm.
He's a great author. He's written some killer books, one of which is called Profit First. And I've had him on my show several times. And this one time he talked about this 4-week vacation test. I don't think he called it that, but that's what I call it. And he said, if you can leave your business for 4 weeks, that's a great test to see if you have a business, right? That you can be out of it for 4 weeks and you come back and it's still as strong, maybe even stronger than when you left. You got systems, you've got people. It's not completely reliant on you. And what a gift that is to your business to create that resiliency and that structure. And he says the thing about the magic with the 4 weeks is it's kind of like a cycle. He says, I think kind of like a month is a nice cycle in a business. You run through a couple pay periods, you run through a couple of meetings, and right. And you're like, does this work without me? And if you're really a business owner, that's the goal, right? It works without you. You're not the linchpin of the whole thing. And so that concept that he taught, and this vacation that I shared with Tim Nikolaev, that desire to be with my family led me to running a stronger business. Yes. So it was actually a gift to the business to set things up in a way that my desire to be a great dad and my family life positively impacted the business by giving it a necessary constraint that it had to figure out how to operate within.
We find that's true for all employees, that your business can't depend on any one person.
Yeah, that's
so we find maternity and paternity leave, we give a very generous 4-month maternity and paternity.
That's cool.
And every time someone goes out on it, we learn so much.
Yeah.
You learn about where they were critical and how you back them up. And we also offer unlimited PTO, which actually you have to make people take if you do that. It's actually the problem with unlimited PTO is that they don't take enough.
Yeah.
If you use it or lose it mentality, they'll like use it more. But we've established a culture in our business of family first and take breaks and be your full self. And we love people, so now we monitor everybody's PTO and we tell them you need to take more. Like
that's cool.
Like you need to go out
that's
for 2 weeks.
That's so great, man.
And then because if you're 2 weeks, the month is great, but even 2 weeks you learn a lot about where were they critical, what are they doing, how are they backing themselves up or not, and you just can't depend on any one person.
Important.
Yeah, and so that's where having a family first mentality
that's so big
builds the business stronger. But ultimately, like loyalty is huge. Like knowing that we care about people and their families, knowing that we care about that. It's hard to find that in an employer, so they do better work. They stay longer. That's really valuable. And they just show up there fully. They're like when they're off, they're off, and they're on. Yeah. And like so many startups run this like crazy grind. So much of what they do, Tim Ferriss would say 80%. What they do is not useful. Yeah. So concentrate that 20 that matters.
Gotta sharpen the axe.
Yeah.
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 Critical, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to ask about the lowest heart rate. You talk about having the lowest heart rate in the room. What does that mean?
Well, this there's a couple things that come up with this lowest heart rate concept, and it's you've probably heard this analogy, and I don't know who to give credit to for it, but it's the thermostat and the thermometer, right? And which one are you in a room? Are you the thermostat or the thermometer? Are you reacting to things? Are you setting the temperature? And I believe that one of our missions in Front Row Dads is to help men become more grounded, right? More resilient, more present, calm in our energy. A lot of our work is in nervous system work. Right? Paying attention to our bodies. Men don't understand what embodied masculine leadership looks and feels like. Maybe we have never had anybody ask us the question, show us any of the tools necessary to do that, right? Understanding our breath, understanding how our energy affects our people, right? Our families, our businesses. So one of the things we talk about in Front Row Dads is being men with range. And, there could be a very long story here, but I'll keep it tight, which is the more that I've been able to touch my darkness, and this is the part of John that's like, I'm a piece of shit. Look at all the bad things I've done. Look at where I lied. Look at where I hurt people. Look at the evidence that says I'm a terrible fucking human, right? And I'm saying that specifically. And I've tried to touch that edge. I've tried to go all the way there and see the places I've really hurt people, right? Why did I lie? Why did I exaggerate, right? Understanding myself, understanding my shadows and that side of me. Over here also, my greatness, my light, my gifts in the world, understanding that and fully leaning into it and seeing it and honoring it, right? And then underneath all of this range, the element of shame, the part for most of us that exists in this place that's very dark. And how do I bring this to the light, right? How do I bring my shame to the light? And I could tell you story after story about my work that I've done there. But I think when we do that, when we touch our dark edges and we touch our light, and then we understand the shame that's kind of the foundational pieces around all this, the things that we don't want to even say to ourselves that we have probably never said to another human, and work to heal all of this, I think in that place, we start to lower our heart rate. We start to find more peace, more grounding. And then I think that we show up differently.
Yeah, it's less scary.
Yeah.
Our inner child has all that shame.
Yeah.
We were shamed a bunch as kids.
Yeah.
And so we carry that and we lock it away. So we're scared of facing that. And so it creates this tension.
That's it.
So yeah, if love is the virtue, presence is the skill, nervous system management is like the embodiment of presence. Like being present is such physically means I'm here and I'm not like trying to run away. And every moment my nervous system is calm and present here. Heart rate's low.
Oh, and I've messed this up so many times.
Yeah.
And
practice.
And it is a practice, dude. 100% of learning to just breathe. And a lot of, for me, I'll just share my personal antidote for this is self-love. Whenever I start to get activated,
compassion.
It's like, hey man, I love you. It's okay, right? Like it's all right. I love myself. And that's taken me 50 years to get to the place where I can actually say that without being like, there's a voice inside. It's like, you're not worthy.
Your inner
that.
child is freaking out and wants attention, just like our current kid does. You give him attention and everybody gets calmer. Kid feels calmer when dad's there. They might still have feelings, but they're like not as scared. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I worry about, my daughter's growing up wealthy, and I worry about that, like what the impact that has. So like, and I'm sure a lot of your dads have successful businesses. Their kids are going to have money. So how do we mitigate that so that they still have grit, or they still don't become spoiled? Or
this is an ongoing conversation that we have. I love the Rockefeller, I believe it's Rockefeller quote. It's like, give your kids enough so they can do anything, not nothing, right? And that philosophy really resonates with me. We have some very wealthy men in our group. Not everybody is extraordinarily wealthy, but there are some wealthy men, with net worths of 100 million plus, right, in the community. And I know for firsthand, because a couple of them are my best friends, one, it's good to show our kids what's possible, right? So doing and experiencing things that you get to do with great wealth is wonderful, right? This is a possibility in life. There are also some antidotes to that too. One is we have a man who's like, my children are not going to inherit the money. It's going to be put into a trust. They can advise the trust. It will be given away. They can borrow against it at times if they want to under these strict rules, but they're not going to just be handed out all the things. They still have to work. They still have to earn their stuff, right? And I think that's a great philosophy, right? To earn your things. So I believe that's part of it. I believe part of it is the conversation. Part of it is the dialogue that's happening, right? And I think that's essential. I think taking our kids to experience different parts of the world is important, to show them a variety of what life looks like. But most of the time, kids will grow up with the morals and values that the parents have, right? So I've seen kids grow up with great wealth.
My only solace, at least I know. Because I didn't grow up wealthy. So.
There's so many different ways to approach this. Like I just spoke on the phone with Naveen Jain. Do you know who he is? He created Viome, and He's a billionaire who we're about to have on the podcast, and he has raised 3 amazing kids. And one of the things he did with his wealth, he says, I raised my kids not to do things that are low value tasks. I didn't make them take out the trash or whatever. I talked to them about being a value creation person. Now, all 3 of his kids are thriving, building, right, creating.
It's a completely different way to think about chores.
Right.
Like, how do we add value to the house rather than just like take care of stuff that you could pay somebody to do?
Yeah. So he believed that was like, I don't want to teach my kids to take out the trash. I want to teach them how to make an impact and that you can pay somebody to take out the trash. So I don't want them doing that type of stuff. Interesting philosophy. There's others that are like just the opposite. It's like, I don't ever want you to think you're too good to take out the trash.
Right.
Also a great philosophy. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I think the point is when you are a father who's asking the question, you have consciousness and awareness around it. And I think that's actually the most important part. Because look, my kids have flown on private jets dozens of times, right? Thanks to friends of ours that are extraordinarily wealthy, not because of me, right? Because of friends of ours. I think my kids have seen and been exposed to great wealth and experienced the benefits of that. And at the same time, they don't always get a chance to experience it. We're flying to Japan. The kids are in coach and we're in business class, right? So there's also an earning of the, I love this philosophy. It's like, one of our dads said, his kid was like, are we wealthy, Dad? He goes, no, we are not wealthy. He goes, I am rich, you are not. I love that concept too.
Yeah. I've been very open with my daughter about talking about how different it is. I think she's very clear that most people don't have this. We give money to, her favorite thing is giving money to the homeless people on the street.
Yeah.
So every time we pull up to one of those, she gives them, $5.
Yeah.
And like loves doing that. And we pray gratitudes every night for the life we have and the house we have. And so I think that's one of the most important things for me was just her understanding she's not entitled to this.
Yes.
She's not better than anybody else. Yeah. I, made choices that led to this, but very well could have ended up the other way, so there's a bit of luck that plays the role here.
Yeah.
And that we take care of other people, we're generous, we like to share. But looking to add value, that's something I can look for.
Yeah. Scott Donnell has some great stuff on that. Do you know Scott? Very cool dude. He's really got some great ideas in the parenting space, but he talks about value creation kids and how did you add value to the world and what are you doing to create value? I like the idea that my kids don't get allowance money, but they can earn money in our home by doing things. And both my kids are great savers. They both have earned. Ocean has thousands of dollars. He's 11. He's saved up like $3,500. He's great at making money. He's an entrepreneur.
Cool.
He made
at 11. That's great.
He created a dog biscuit business where he puts dog treats in poop bags. We go down to Zilker Park and he sells them. His business is called In One End and Out the Other.
Genius.
And he'd go out on a Saturday morning and make $100, as a little entrepreneur walking around selling these things at Zilker Park. And that's cool to see.
Taking Venmo and cash.
So I'll buy Ocean some things, right? But at the same time, I'll be very happy to say I won't buy that.
Yeah.
That's why you have money, right? You want that.
How do they earn the money in the house?
Anything. I'm like, you find something that needs to be done. So we've paid our kids for all sorts of things. Like Ocean's like, do you want a foot rub? I'll give you 5 minutes for $3, And it's anything that's like, where can I solve a problem?
They create the job and make the offer, make the ask.
But I have no problem saying, just put the trash out.
Yeah.
Right? Now, during the school year with Ocean, I figured out a system with him that he really thrived, which was he had a checklist and he had to do the checklist every day. And at the end of the week, I'd give him $20 if he did the checklist, right? And it's a constant negotiation because they're changing, I'm changing, the situation's changing, we're constantly evolving. I don't think there's a system that works for all the seasons.
Jason told me there's an app that you can put jobs in and what their cost, the kid can look at it.
There's Greenlight, which is a great one, very popular with a lot of people. I think those systems are great. You can do saving and investing there, but whatever it is, it's.
She's made a couple $100 selling her magic potions.
Yeah.
It's she's sort of sold to everybody in our life that would buy one just because she's cute.
Yeah.
And now she either needs to make like a second sell because she needs a repeat customer, or she needs to find a new market, like go to talk to strangers. Neither of which has she been willing to do. So she's at a spot in her business. It's her third business that she's tried.
Yeah.
But she loves making money, and I pay her to do content for me. So now when we make videos, she's like $10.
Yeah.
The other day, but if it's humiliating, apparently it's $100. You add a zero if she has to be, if we're going to laugh at her.
That's so cool.
She'll do it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted her to wear my shirt because it'd be cute, her in this big, I have these DILF shirts, Dad, I'd like to follow shirts.
Yeah. Dad, I'd like to follow.
Yeah. And
funny.
I wanted her to wear it, but she's like, you're going to laugh at me for that?
Funny.
$100.
Do you know about the Acton business fairs that?
Yes, where the kids have the businesses.
That's really cool.
It's fun. I should sign those up. She'd probably want to do one of those.
Yeah, that's a really cool.
Her school does lots of businesses as well. Like all the grades do businesses and sell products in her school, which is really great. So yeah, well, this is awesome. You've listed a whole bunch of great resources. We'll try to compile them all in the show notes. Any other just like critical books, podcasts besides yours?
Wow. So many, man. Well, we have a book list inside FRD that somebody can go get
just put that list
as a download. Okay. And then a games list. I think these are great resources for guys.
And can anybody join Front Row Dads? Is it remote? Can you be anywhere?
Yeah,
Do you
we
have to be in
have
Austin?
3 different levels.
Okay.
So we have anything from the super accessible, anybody could afford and join, up to, hey, man, you probably need to be a higher income earner and a high performer to be in that level. It's quite expensive. So we have...
And those are more in person. They fly in. Or they're here
yeah,
in
we
Austin.
have in person. We'll have 12 events next year.
Okay.
And anywhere from 8 people at the event up to 150 people. And so there's something for everybody. And if you can only do online, we got you covered there. And if you can do in person, we got you. But the real value of Front Row Dads is we have a one-to-one program that we built for these personal one-to-one connections. We have small groups that meet regularly. We call those bands. And then we have large events. And I think that whether or not a man joins Front Row Dads, I think they should create this in their life. Yeah. Now, we've done it for you. We've got a system. If we feel like the right fit, then great, come join us. Like, we got a great thing going. You should join. You should be a part of it.
I've been feeling that.
You would love it, man.
Sounds like my people.
These are your people.
Yeah,
like, for real. I'm not kidding.
A lot to gain.
But that's it. It's like, if you can form it with your neighbors, if you can form it in your church, if you have it, right? The real question is always like, who is in your front row? Who's in your crew? Do you have the men that are playing at your level or a level that you want to play at, that are living by the values that you want, that are inspiring to you? Because look, I live in a great neighborhood. I have great neighbors, but they're not the people I want to do life with. Yeah. And it's not a poke at them. They're awesome. We just don't line up the way that I want my community to line up.
You didn't really choose them in a
So I think that you get to choose. I think you get to find the one that you're like, that's my crew. Yeah. And I think that you'll know when you look at it, when you look at the community, if somebody listened to the Front Row Dads podcast as an example, it wouldn't take long. We have an episode coming out this week for Father's Day, which is me and 3 other guys that are all Front Row Dads. And we're having a group conversation. I think if somebody listens to that show, they'll know by the end if they should be in our community.
That's great. And can you join at pregnancy?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. We just had a guy this week join. Yeah. His wife is pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the time to join.
Dude, 100%.
Build the dad. If there's one thing you do when you find out your wife's pregnant, it's find other dads. Like critical.
That's it.
And they'll be happy to talk to you. I tell people ask for their birth story. I interviewed 3 dads to ask about their birth. Yeah. About what their kid's birth was like. And nobody had ever asked them that before.
Totally.
Nobody had ever asked them, tell me about your birth story. So it's like they were happy to tell me, and then I learned a lot from that. And then I became the dads I would call for other stuff, like, what do I do with this? How do I warm the bottle? Whatever. Yeah. And so that's great. You have that kind of created for, and they need to be entrepreneurs as well, or really a dad at any phase?
No, we tend to attract a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, but no, we have
core user. But
you interviewed Jason Bronstad.
That's true. Yeah, he's a CEO.
He's the CEO of Malk, and he's in our group.
That's right.
We have a bunch of different types of people. We have doctors and lawyers, and we have a couple stay-at-home dads, people who've retired from their businesses, founders who've exited. We have a farmer in our group that's just a Midwest farmer.
That's great.
All different types of dudes.
And what's that website?
Front Row Dads. Yeah, frontrowdads.com.
Frontrowdads.com, and then we'll put a link to the podcast in there. A lot of great resources there. But yeah, it's crazy, amazing work you're doing for dads,
Thank
for
you,
men,
brother.
for your kids, for yourself, your inner child.
Thank you. And for
Yeah.
you too, man, like what you're doing. When I looked at what's going on with Serenity Kids, I was like, that is something that I want to support, that I want more people to know about. So we should get you on the Front Row Dads podcast
Yeah,
and
I'd
bring
love
the
to come
message.
on. Yeah, I'd love to come talk about
That'd
it.
be
So,
fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again. Have a great Father's Day.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Please follow and subscribe to the podcast, especially on YouTube. Helps me reach more dads. Drop in the comments something that you think that your business could offer your family, and share this with the dad in your life. Stay dedicated.